Namaste and welcome to another short video, Great Minds, Great Quotes. The few quotes I have selected for this have to deal with conscience, kind of the inner, subtler mind, conscience. The first one is, by Albert Einstein. He says, "Never do anything against conscience, even if the state demands it." Wow, that is a strong statement. Never do anything against conscience, even if the state demands it. Sometimes it can be a very challenging task that the state or the governing authorities have planned to direct your actions, your thought in a certain way, but it is against your conscience. So what do you do? Something to think about. He said, never do anything against your conscience, no matter what. And I feel what Einstein meant, my guess, is that working against your conscience is bad for you to begin with. Because your intuition, your inner voice is telling you to do something or not do something, and you are doing it. You are violating your inner conscience. It will eventually disturb your mind, disorient your living, your feeling, your emotions. You may regret, you may feel helpless. So, acting against your conscience, first knowing your conscience is very important. If you don't know your conscience, you never reach that depth in your inner being. You don't know what your true feeling, what your true nature, what your true inspiration, intuition, intention. Not in contact with any of that. That is another issue. But if you are in contact, but you are violating it, it will make you very miserable, unhappy, dissatisfied, disappointed. So to avoid all this, know and respect your conscience and think and act accordingly. Mahatma Gandhi has another counsel on dealing with conscience. He says, "In matters of conscience, the law of majority has no place." Another strong statement. In matters of conscience, the law of majority has no place. Just visualize a group, a situation in which the majority, most people, have an opinion, they agree on something which is against your conscience, your true inquiry into your conscience. The majority is moving in a different direction. What to do? The hint, I believe, here is that you ignore without hurting yourself or others. You withdraw. You move away from it and do your own thing. Do your civic duties, but don't be influenced by a lot of people who are acting against their own conscience and against the interest of the larger group. So it's a kind of group dynamics and individual interaction with the group. If the group is moving in the wrong direction, you feel, you try to discuss with them, try to educate them, try to inform them, try to advise them. If that fails, still don't continue to join them. You can isolate yourself, move in a different direction. Maybe you will find a lot of other people who support you and you support them, and they are moving according to their conscience, and that coincides with your own. So maybe you switch from one direction to the other. But the caution here is respect your conscience. Here is another strong quotation on conscience from Emanuel Swedenborg. He says, very briefly, conscience is God's presence in you. Wonderful. Conscience is God's presence in you. This is not really defining what God is. That's another big question. Something divine. Something in you and beyond you. It's a quality of all-knowing, all-being, and all-presence. The fundamental principles on which nature works. The ultimate cause of creation. Whatever image you have of God, who is present everywhere, all the time, in everyone. So essentially, the suggestion here is, conscience is God's presence in you. That you are not separate from it. You are not only connected, but you are one with it in a micro sense. There is a cosmic divinity, divine quality, and there is individual, a human, an animal, planet, birds, trees, plants. All those are microcosm of the macrocosm. Let's take example of nature. We often talk about we are connected with nature. Okay, sure, we are connected with nature. But look at it this way, you are not connected with nature, you are part of nature. Because to connect with something, there has to be two. One who is connecting, the other you are connecting with. So there is you and the other, and there is a connection. So connection is always between two separate entities. So one way to look at it is, you are not a separate entity from nature, that this is you and that is nature around you. You are part of it. You are an expression of nature. You are one with nature. Similarly, you as an individual are one with the cosmic beingness. So that cosmic divinity, in a micro sense, is present in you. You are not connected with it, you are part of it. So I believe this is the concept that Emanuel Swedenborg is trying to convey. Conscience is God's presence in man. Of course, sometimes that presence is ignored, not understood, or negated. But for peace of mind, for a creative, happy life, one has to recognize the oneness and the divine expression that is in you, to recognize it and to live with it in a cordial way with proper contemplation and attention. Thank you for listening, and I'll come back to you